Good morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told, out of Voice Radio. So today, we've got a new Lycanroc to be having a look at. It's a dusk form Lycanroc, and because he is a lovely person, our translation once again comes from the lovely Antoine Boulet. So, let's start off having a look at the basics, shall we? 120 HP, it's alright for a stage 1, it's not spectacular. I mean, it's higher than something like a Alolan Ninetales, which is nice. But then, it's in line with Volcanion, who's a basic, so yeah. It's got a retreat cost of 2, which is annoying, because it means you can't use U-turn board to get free retreat. It's got a weakness to grass, which is awesome, because all these welder decks running around with fire energy are making grass decks unplayable at the moment. So that's quite nice. And it is a fighting Pokemon, which means Diancie Prism Star to do a little bit of extra damage, Martial Arts Dojo to do a little bit of extra damage, and Karate Belt to reduce your attack cost by 1 fighting energy, which would be lovely if there was any fighting energy in the attack cost. But there isn't. Yeah, maybe forget those last two. But you're hitting weakness against Pikachu and Zekrom, and Raichu and Alolan Raichu, Pokemon which are frankly really big right now, very much at the centre of the format, so, you know, we've got that. And this is a good card. Like a really good card. The ability reads, and it sounds over the top good, but unfortunately, you know, I've checked with Antoine, it's correct. Boiling Blood. If your opponent has any Pokemon EX or GX in play, this Pokemon's attacks cost 3 colourless energy less. And it doesn't take a genius to have a quick look at that card and go, hang on a second, the only attack it's got costs 3 colourless energy. Why doesn't it just say attack for free? The reason is that there are ways your opponent can increase the cost of your attack. So let's say, for instance, your opponent pops down an Aerodactyl GX. Well, Aerodactyl does increase the cost of your attack by 1 colourless energy, so instead of costing 4 colourless energy, it would go down to 1. Similarly, we've got Wonder Labyrinth Prism Star, which, it's not a fairy Pokemon, so it does increase the energy cost of the attack by 1. So with an Aerodactyl and a Wonder Labyrinth Prism Star, this would go from 5 colourless energy down to 2. Okay, but to be clear, ladies and gentlemen, this attacks for free if your opponent has any Pokemon EX or Pokemon GX in play. And if we have a look at the top cut of the Pokemon World Championships, it's littered with GX decks. I mean, at the moment, the best decks in the format are basically Blacephalon, which is obviously a GX Pokemon, and Reshiram and Charizard, which is a GX Pokemon. And then we've got Mewtwo and Mew and Pikachu and Zekrom. They're all GX Pokemon. The only deck we saw that did really well at the Pokemon World Championships that didn't play GX Pokemon was the Oranguru with Pidgeotto deck, the control deck. Everything else is playing GXs at the moment. Now, there is a chance that by the time this comes out, the format will have moved on a bit. But one of the biggest issues at the moment is that we've got Cherish Ball to search out GXs, and generally we have really bad Pokemon search outside of that, which is only incentivizing people to play GXs more. This is brilliant. If your opponent has any GXs on the field, and they almost certainly will, you get to attack for free. Now, there are reasons why they would potentially not attack for free. Like I say, you got stuff like Wonder's Labyrinth Prism Star, but generally speaking, this is going to give you a free attack against the vast, vast majority of decks. That is phenomenal. Okay, so we're attacking for free, but what does the attack actually do? Well, initially it does 60 damage, which is fine, but if the defending Pokemon has any special energy attached to it, this attack does 70 more damage. So you can essentially here do 130 damage for 0 energy. Now, I'm a little bit sad at the wording of this, because if it said if this Pokemon had any special energy attached to it, Woo! Triple acceleration energy. And incidentally, if your opponent doesn't have any EXs or GXs in play, you can use triple acceleration energy to be able to use this attack for free, which is nice. That's cool. We like this. But it's not up to you, it's up to your opponent. And the sad thing is at the moment, the most widely played special energy is triple acceleration energy, and that falls off at the end of the turn. So your opponent on your turn will not have triple acceleration energy attached to them. Because if they've got it attached to them at the end of their turn, it will fall off. And then it won't be attached during your turn. Which is somewhat upsetting. It would be interesting if we had the ability to attach energy to our opponent's Pokemon, but we don't. Maybe in the future, but not an option we have right now. And there are other special energy around, right? Recycle energy does see a little bit of play, because when it gets discarded, it goes back to your hand. So we do see that seeing a bit of play. Weakness guard energy does see a little bit of play here and there. It's sometimes played as a one-off because it's a colorless energy that removes weakness. So we do see that seeing a little bit of play. And by the time this comes out, we're actually going to have draw energy, which is a colorless energy. And when you attach it, you get to draw a card. There are special energy decks out there, but there's just not enough of them. There's nothing to stop people playing Rainbow Energy at the moment. And to be fair, we did see some Mewtwo and Mew decks playing Rainbow Energy. Those ones would generally play stuff like Galarian GX, so that Rainbow Energy counted as metal and made you immune to special conditions. Really good against Raichu and a Alolan Raichu that's constantly trying to paralyze you. So I like this. I just don't know when you're going to do the extra damage. If you can get the extra damage rolling, this is really, really nice. Because, okay, you're only doing 130, but 130 will get the majority of non-GXs, and then Diancie Prism Star brings it up to 150, and then if you're behind on prizes, you put one basic fighting energy on there, Martial Arts Dojo puts it up to 190, and you're getting a one-hit KO on something like an Ultra and a Crozma. Now, I use that as an example, partly because it's the most relevant Pokemon with 190, but also because we do sometimes see that playing unit energy, because it's both psychic and metal, and can help it to pay the attack cost. So maybe it gets up pretty quickly. The thing is, let's just pretend for a second that you are against a Pokemon that doesn't have any special energy attached. I still love this, and here's the reason why. Dedenne. Dedenne has 160 HP and a weakness to fighting. You're doing a base 60 damage, but you should always have Diancie Prism Star, so now you're going up to 80. Which double with weakness is 160, which is enough to KO Dedenne. And by the time this comes out, we're going to have Great Catcher, discard 2 cards from your hand, and then switch your opponent's active with one of their benched EX or GX Pokemon. So you're really not going to struggle KOing Dedenne. And I suppose this is as good a time as any to mention that by the time this comes out, we'll have Silvally GX, which I'm still convinced is going to be absolutely phenomenal. Now, the good news is they are likely to be playing special energy. The bad news is it's going to be triple acceleration energy, which will fall off at the end of their turn and won't be any use. The good news is, however, that with a Diancie Prism Star, you're up to 80, and if you can get a Martial Arts Dojo while being behind on prizes, you are then actually going up to 120, 240 with weakness, which is lovely. And that will work for Pikachu and Zekrom as well. Not Raichu and Alolan Raichu, they're going to be out of range, unfortunately. So if you can use Diancie Prism Star and Martial Arts Dojo, this becomes really good for a lot of super relevant Pokemon. But the fact of the matter is that most of them are not going to have special energy on. And without special energy on, Dedenne is the only one where you're really going to get a consistent KO. If you're against anything playing special energy, this is phenomenal. But if your opponent's got a Dedenne on the field, you can attack for free. And if you've got a Diancie Prism Star, you get a one-hit KO for 2 prizes. And you're not even using any energy. I'm giving this 4 Wassies. I really like this card. I don't think it's going to be a powerhouse in a whole bunch of decks. What I do love, however, is that it is just great at taking down Dedenne. And remember, now that we're in a format with Ditto Prism Star, there's nothing to stop you having a Ditto on the field and then just evolve up Great Catcher, take out Dedenne. Yes, okay, hitting Dedenne on the bench is difficult because they may well be playing Mew, but by the time this comes out, Great Catcher's going to be here. Dedenne is going to be scared of Great Catcher, and for good reason. I really like this. As a card that can just sit there and take out Dedenne, consider me quite the fan. Also, right, as a side note, in Expanded, hey, Zoroark's weak to fighting. Hey, Zoroark needs double colourless energy. If you're in Expanded and want a Zoroark taker downer, yeah, this is going to be pretty phenomenal. But I want to know what you think about it, so let me know in the comment section. Go nuts, be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at @TheWassy, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCGRadio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all that, head on over to patreon.com/PTCGRadio, where you can do exactly that. And please do make sure you're checking out youtube.com/WassyPlays, where we talk about a whole bunch of games that don't even have any Pokemon in. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time. Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.